What's going on, fam? It's your boy J.S. Vaughn. And guess what, yo? We back with another one, yo. Today's video is called The Art of War Explained in 5 Minutes. You know what I mean? It's by your boy Sun Tzu. I'm not trying to pronounce it, you know what I mean? I might get the pronunciation wrong and whatnot. And I don't want to do that shit. Let's jump into it, fam.
In the age of bloody civil war, 2,500 years ago, a Chinese military commander, strategist and philosopher emerged. His name? Sun Tzu. After successfully defending the state of Wu against its neighbor Chu to the west, a book formerly known as Master Sun's Military Methods was born, which has later become known as The Art of War. The Art of War is the most influential treatise on war ever written, consisting of 13 chapters, each of which is devoted to one aspect of warfare. It has shaped the way in which conflicts have been fought for thousands of years.
Shit, man. Them niggas really went deep on that, you know what I mean? Man.
Of 13 chapters, each of which is devoted to one aspect of warfare. It has shaped the way in which conflicts have been fought for thousands of years, from the Japanese samurai to the Napoleonic War. Not only has the book influenced military commanders and generals all over the world, it has had resounding effects on politics, sports, and business to this day. The art of war is of vital importance to the state. It's a matter of life and death, a road either to safety or to ruin. Hence it's a subject of inquiry which can on no account be neglected. Sun Tzu has a holistic philosophy that if you follow correctly and study thoroughly, you will be victorious. Sun Tzu says, avoid what is strong and strike at what is weak. Sun Tzu is a
Damn, son. Avoid what is strong and strike what is weak. You know what I mean? So therefore, instead of getting the person that's on top and whatnot, you know what I mean? Make sure you kill off the pawns first and whatnot before you move up. You know what I mean? Because the more you kill, when you killing the when you getting rid of the pawns and whatnot, you getting rid of the people's that's on top of the pawn's power. You know what I mean? You slowly but surely freaking striking down their army and whatnot, one step at a time. That's mad ill, yo.
on no account be neglected. Sun Tzu has a holistic philosophy that if you follow correctly and study thoroughly, you will be victorious. Sun Tzu says, avoid what is strong and strike at what is weak. Sun Tzu is a strong believer that winning the war with as little unnecessary combat as possible is the key to true victory.
That makes sense, you know what I mean? Little combat and whatnot. Make sure you strike as little as possible, because at the end of the day, when you do that, your army is not going to suffer, you know what I mean? And you're still gonna have a lot more move. You're still gonna be able to make more moves along the way, depending on how long the war is. And if the war begins to be long, then you basically gonna have a lot of fucking power going into it, because the other side is gonna be using all the fucking power in the world trying to destroy you, while you're using your techniques and whatnot, and using little bit of effort in gaining more yards.
Supreme excellence consists in breaking the enemy's resistance without fighting, and the key to doing so is to know your enemy well. If your opponent is arrogant, pretend to be weak, so he will underestimate you. If he was relaxing, attack and give him no rest. If his forces are united, separate them.
What they talking about here is like, yo, man, you gotta be your enemy's best friend. You know what I mean? That's the only way. You know what I mean? Your best your enemy has to think you're his best friend. You know what I mean? And that's the only way that you gonna win that battle and whatnot. What's that saying, man? Keep your enemies close keep your friends close and your enemies closer. You know what I mean? That's what they're talking about here.
Weak, so he will underestimate you. If he was relaxing, attack and give him no rest. If his forces are united, separate them. Sun Tzu is essentially saying that if you know your opponent's weaknesses and how to exploit them, you will never lose.
So at dawn, the hopeless Athenians do the unthinkable. They attack. They attack the weary Persians as they disembark their ships on shaky legs after a month at sea. They attack before they can establish their war camp and supply their soldiers.
Sun Tzu says, if you
if they know you ain't got no weapons or you haven't eaten for weeks and shit, and you know your supplies is like 2 weeks away and shit, that's the best way. That's the best time to. Knowledge is basically power. What they rounded up to at the end of the day. You know what I mean? The more you know about your enemy and shit, the more good, the better it is for you. You know.
They attack the weary Persians as they disembark their ships on shaky legs after a month at sea. They attack before they can establish their war camp and supply their soldiers.
Sun Tzu says, if you know the enemy and know yourself, you need not fear the result of 100 battles. During the mid-1960s, a war took place between the North Vietnamese communists and the United States of America. Instead of confronting the Americans head-on, the Viet Cong had a different idea in mind. They used unconventional guerrilla warfare tactics, which included hit-and-run strategies. This proved very effective against the much larger military of the Americans. It's more important to outthink your enemy than to outfight him.
Facts, man. It's facts, man. Outthink your enemy than to fight him. What was that? What was the last line?
Very effective against the much larger military of the Americans. It's more important to outthink your enemy than to outfight him.
Yeah, to outfight them, you know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, yo, listen to this, yo, you know what I mean? If I'm a short dude and whatnot, and I'm fighting a tall dude and whatnot, and I know the dude got more power than me, all I gotta do is wear that motherfucker out, you know what I mean? Every now and then give him a little jab and whatnot, and due to the fact that I'm short, that means I'm a little bit faster than him. You know what I mean? I can maneuver a little bit more. You know what I mean? I got more speed than him, and I could use that to my advantage. Just hit and run, hit and run, hit and run, and after that, tire him out. You know what I mean? He gonna use his energy trying to run after me and whatnot. All I gotta do is dodge here and there and whatnot. I'm good. You know what I mean? Do little sneak attacks and shit. You know? Until I give him the freaking deadly knockout blow like Japa. Let's go, man.
Viet Cong forces were inferior to the Americans in both man and firepower, so guerrilla warfare tactics allowed them to inflict significant damage while keeping their casualties to a minimum. They also had unparalleled knowledge of the terrain. This included a vast network of underground tunnels.
They were fighting. They were also the Americans was fighting on their freaking yard. You know what I mean? And they had the overhead advantage. That's definitely facts right there.
Allowing them to evade carpet bombing and escape the enemy. The terrain was also laced with various booby traps and landmines. Even though the Viet Cong and North Vietnamese were heavily out-armed by the American superpower, they were still able to defeat them as they truly understood Sun Tzu's philosophy. All warfare is based on deception. Hence, when we are able to attack, we must seem unable. When using our forces, we must appear inactive. When we are near, we must make the enemy believe we are far away. When far away, we must make him believe we are near. This philosophy can be seen in the World War II invasion of Normandy, known as D-Day. The British created several fictional units of troops stationed in Scotland who were ready to invade Europe through its northern regions, in particular Scandinavia. They then used several misinformation techniques to persuade Hitler that 350,000 of these troops were primed to attack. Radio chatter in Scotland lit up with talks of these troops
That's gangster, yo.
preparing for an overseas assault, and many of these transmissions were made easily interceptable. Allied spies who had been able to infiltrate the Germans reported these developments as well, reinforcing their legitimacy. These spies also took photographs of planes and tanks posed for invasion, but these were actually blow-up models in most cases. All this caused dozens of German divisions to go up to Bochum
Hold up, man. Hold up.
in their legitimacy. These spies also took photographs of planes and tanks posed for invasion, but these were actually blow-up models in most cases. All this
Yo, son. Yo. Propaganda, yo.
caused dozens of German divisions to go up to bogus locations and wait for an imaginary army to show up, whilst important battles were fought elsewhere. This method of dividing enemy forces was also employed to a greater extent on D-Day itself. Soviet forces kept around 1 million of the German forces busy on the Eastern Front, whilst the Allied invasion occurred on the Western Front. This tactic of dividing the enemy is one of Sun Tzu's key philosophies and allowed the Allies to achieve victory and eventually win the war. Thanks for watching.
Yo, man. Sun Tzu, son. Awesome ass nigga, yo. This was actually a freaking dope ass video, you know what I mean? We have to use strategy to get ahead, you know what I mean? And this dude created like shit that helped motherfuckers win wars all over the freaking world and shit, you know what I mean? So I really, it is kind of different from the type of videos I usually do and whatnot, but I really was intrigued with this shit, you know what I mean? And the type of shit that dude was saying, man, it was like knowledge from oh man, I'm fucking stuttering anyways, man. But it's definitely awesome, you know what I mean, that this guy was able to build the art of war explained in so much different books and whatnot, in 16 different books, and to break it the field down and whatnot to how to win a war, you know what I mean? This guy must have been thinking for a long time to do that, because everybody used that technique. I know that's one of freaking 50 Cent's favorite books and whatnot, the art of the art of war and whatnot. But I mean, like, at the end of the day, you know what I mean, you gotta do what you gotta do, man. Definitely freaking appreciate this video on a whole new level and whatnot, yo. But anyways, yo, if you guys feeling the vibe, you know what I mean, and you guys enjoyed the video, put it down in the comment section, you know what I mean. If you guys want more videos like this, you know what to do. Put that junk down in the comment section too, you know what I mean. If you guys want any other type of videos, you know what I mean, same shit, man, put it down in the comment section. You see a thumb right here, you know, put it all the way up in the sky, you know what I mean. Give me some thumbs up and whatnot. And another way you can show me some love and support and whatnot is by subscribing to the channel, which is right down there, you know what I mean. That's pretty much it. Nonsense is definitely good sense. I'm gonna check you guys next time on the next video. Peace out, one love, yo.